Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy E, coming to you from Arizona. It is the 16th of November 2011. What I want to do really quick for you guys is I want to put together a video talking about the paycheck. One of the biggest questions I get is, how is the pay over at Swift? How is the pay in truck driving? And that's a really good question. I mean, shoot, that's a very good question. I remember having that, when I first started as well. So what I did is I put together some research for you guys because I wanted to make it as concrete as I possibly could. What I'm holding right here is basically a whole month worth of pay stubs. My most recent month, dating back from 8/21/2011 up to 9/11/2011. Unfortunately, that's all I could print. I know I'm 9, 10, 11. I know I'm like 2 months behind right now, but for the most part, this is as current as it gets for right now. And the numbers you see is pretty much the numbers that they typically are, give or take. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what the paychecks look like, and then from there we're going to talk about a few things, including 2 things that affect your paycheck. We're going to talk about the things that you can control or that are your faults, for your paycheck, like how you help or hinder it. And then we're going to talk about the things that are not your fault, not in your control, that you can't help, that affect your paycheck. So let's break it down. This is my paycheck. So what I did is, because the numbers are so small and everything, I went ahead and I printed it ahead of time, and I wrote down what it looks like. So we're breaking it out into weeks, so we get paid every week. So week 1 to week 4, that's a whole month. As you can tell, these miles are not too bad. The first week I did 29.27, 13.20, 21.01, 14.39. So for this entire month I did 7,787 miles. The pay, this is the corresponding pay. I made 718, 572, 584, and 348 netting, and that's everything net. 22.24. So like in this instance, for this paycheck I made $893, but after everything, the taxes, this withholding, the 718. So obviously you gotta take into consideration what and that's the other thing you also control is what do you want to be withdrawal. Obviously you have tax purposes and write-offs and how much you want to allot to taxes, and then you have benefits like medical and dental and everything. Personally, I opted out of that because I was trying to maximize my full benefit. But as you can tell, the miles are not that bad. Out of the 7,787, my goal was 10,000 miles. So that's not that bad considering. Sometimes you have really good weeks. Other times, the weeks are a little bit rough. So, anywho, here are some of the different variations or the things that they pay you for. So I'm going to show you that really quick. Okay, you have mileage pay. Mileage pay is basically what you drive. So I had 0 empty, 383 loaded, and they're paying me currently 30 cents. And that's what I made on that load particularly. You have stuff like stop pay. Stop pay is pretty much every stop that you make, they pay you. So if you have to deliver from point A to B and you have a few stops in between, they pay you per stop. So this particular stop cost I made $15 for that one stop. So that's it. Let's see. Continuing on, we have load pay. What load pay is whenever you have to touch freight. So Swift is a 95% no-touch freight, I believe. But every now and then you get to be a part of that 5%, and then you have to touch the freight. A case in point for that could be, one of my loads that I had to do, I had to offload tires. So I jump in the back and I would just chuck them to the back of the trailer, and the other guys take it from there. So I touched that freight, I offloaded tires, and I got paid for it. Other ones could be I picked up some copper. Basically, the forklift guy drives the copper into the trailer. I go in there behind him with the wood and nails and hammer that they provide. I nail everything down, and I'm out of there. So that's touch freight. I have to make sure that I let Swift know, and then they pay me accordingly. So load pay, I got paid for this particular load $10 because I touched the freight. Alright. We have stuff like wait time. Wait time is broken down into, I'm not quite sure about the specifics, but I'll tell you this much. Pretty much I have an appointment. I have an appointment to get to my final. I get to my final, I dock in the doors. Obviously I already hit my macro saying I arrived at my final, and from there I'm just sitting and waiting until they're offloading me or onloading, so however, whichever way works for you. But the point is, if it take more time than allotted, I think, which is a 2-hour window, then I get paid per every, I think it's either 15 minutes or 25 minutes. I forget exactly how. I think it's 25 minutes, but I get paid, X amount of dollars for every 25 minutes thereafter. So after my 2-hour window. So that's wait time. You have stuff like short haul. What short haul is, I got paid $25 for this particular load to take it from city to city. So I was in, let's say, Los Angeles, and basically it was from Los Angeles to Los Angeles. I only drove it maybe 25 miles, and that's a short haul. So you get paid for short hauls. And then, let's see, lastly, I think that's about it. Yep, that's about it. So those are the different variations. Okay, so now let's talk about really quick some of the basics. Okay, so when you first get started and you have zero experience like myself, I got paid 25 cents per mile when I first got started. And once I got off of my 240 and I jumped on a truck on my own and I was rolling, it was 25 cents to start. 3 months thereafter, I noticed that they gave me a boost and I went to 30 cents. I'm now currently about, off of my own, I'm probably about 7 months, 8 months in, and I'm still at 30 cents. So I'm kind of curious when the next bump's going to be, but I'll let you guys know when that happens. How you get paid or how much you make is basic mathematics. For instance, I average currently now about 1,800 to 2,200 miles. So when I first got started and I was averaging that, I was making 450 to 660 a week, and that's gross. But now, I'm averaging that and I'm making 540 to 660, let's see, well, yeah, 540, and I have to do the math on what the other half is, but for the most part, I'm making more. So all you gotta do is just do the math. However much miles that you're running times what you're getting paid, and that's your gross. And then as far as calculating taxes, that's just a whole different ballgame. Let's see. So, I'm bringing home, give or take, 1,800 to 2,600, depending on if I'm having a good week or not. Now let's talk about the things that affect us in regards to getting paid. The things that are in your control, okay, are this. Your work ethic. If you're lazy, like for some, for instance, at the end of my final, they usually, when you fill out the empty call, you put in there, hey, when are you going to be available next? If I'm tired, if I'm like, man, I think 12 hours of sleep sounds better than 10, or 12 hours of rest, or 13 hours of rest is better than 10. If I go that route, then that's obviously going to affect my paycheck because I'm not running at optimal, scheduling. So obviously, try not to get lazy. It's easy sometimes. It's colder in the mornings or whatever, and it's like, you snuggled in your blanket, and you wouldn't mind buying yourself another 2 or 3 hours. It just depends. I mean, you need to do that. But if you don't, then run it, and you'll obviously make more in your paycheck. Not planning correctly. That could be something to the degree of allotting for too much time. For instance, they want you to run 450 miles. You can get that done in a day, but you're like, but I want to give myself more room. So how about I make it a 2-day trip for 450 miles? Well, 450 miles can be accomplished in a day, but you're taking 2, which in essence means you're taking 1 day away from more work and more money. So not planning correctly. Accepting bad loads. Now, unfortunately, this is a forced freight company, so you have to have a good reason to reject a load. Example, you're out of hours, or during your week you have 10 hours left to work for the week, and they have you do a 14-hour job. Obviously, you can't pull it off. So you reject the load. Sorry, it's a little bit loud. But in regards to accepting bad loads, you got to be smart about the issue. For instance, they gave me a trip that I could do in a day or two, but they told me I couldn't deliver until 3 or 4 days, and I couldn't deliver early. So I would have to accept that kind of a load, and it would affect me because for 2 days I would be sitting at a truck stop or what have you. So what I did is, you call your manager and you let them know, hey, look, this is the load that they gave me. What do you think? And if you think it's good to go, I'll accept it. And if you don't, then help me out. And more or less, he helped me out and got me a better load, and on our way. Exhausting your 70. So if you don't play it just right and you're working, and we talked about this in the previous video, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and you're doing all that kind of stuff, basically you're going to exhaust your 70 and have to sit. If you play it just right, and you do, let's say 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, that kind of stuff, then chances are you'll never exhaust your 70. I know sometimes if push go to shove and you don't have a choice, and it happens and you have to, it's part of it, then you take it and you get done with your 34 reset. But when you can't control it, don't exhaust your 70. Another thing that affects is home time. I opt for 4 weeks out and 3 or 4 days back. So obviously, when I'm gone for those 4 days, I'm not getting paid. And so when I come back to the truck and I get paid on Tuesday, I'm gonna realize, oh man, I opted to not work that week, and so I'm not making that money. But hey, it's home time, so that's why you work hard to begin with. Those are the things that are within your control. These are the things that are not in your control. This is when let's say when you're at the shipper or receiver, and the loading and unloading takes too much time. When it takes too much time, it's not your fault. It's just part of the game, and they're doing their thing and they're offloading. I.e., for me, was Kmart. I went to Kmart, delivered 16,000 pounds of product. They had to offload it by hand, little boxes by hand. It ended up taking them 8 hours, which shot my whole day, and pretty much I was stuck in the parking lot for the remainder. So those kind of things happen, and when they do, it's not in your control. It's just part of the game. From there, truck breakdown. If your truck breaks down, that's a part of the game too. Take it to the shop, cross your fingers, you get out in time. And while the truck is in the shop, I believe you get paid, for the wait time per se, but it's not like you're making what you would make if you're driving. From there, I find it tough on the weekends. The weekends affect my money because, unfortunately, my manager goes home, and I'm stuck with the weekend planners, which do their best. So shouts out to you, weekend planners. But nonetheless, I notice the communication is difficult, and sometimes I end up sitting for more time than I have to. Bit services or maintenances on your truck that need to be done, that's just a part of the game that might take you. Anytime you touch the shop, you run the risk of being stuck there. Changing plans by the customer. For instance, I was told deliver this load. I went, I drove hard, did 8-9 hours, got there on time, everything. I get there, customer says, oh, we can't take you, we can offload you tomorrow. Like those kind of things, that affects your money. Also, another thing that's not your fault is when you land into a rough spot. I was in Louisiana. Unfortunately, freight was slow in Louisiana, and it took me a couple of days to get out. There's hot spots and dead spots, so you tend to learn. From there, let me see. From there, timing of the assignment, which basically means when I first started, they gave me a load for 2,300 miles. I was driving across country. I was like, yes, great, 2,300 miles. It was a Wednesday to Wednesday deal. And you don't get paid until you hit that empty call button. So obviously I wasn't empty by payday, and basically I went a whole week of working. Technically I worked, but I didn't get paid for it until the empty call, which happened to be after payday. So that current paycheck didn't look very good. But the next paycheck, obviously I sandbagged from the last time, and it showed up on my next paycheck. So I got 1 more minute, and that's pretty much what the paycheck looks like. It's really depending on your work ethic. Basically, I'm giving you a breakdown of the things that affect you, that are in your control and outside of your control. Just do the basic math. My goal is 2,500 miles per week, and then I just times that by whatever I'm making. So, in this situation, 30 cents, and that's what I get. So it's not so much how many hours you work; it's about how many miles you drive. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, comments, holler at me. And I hope this helps everybody in regards to the basic concept of a paycheck. So until then, grace and peace.